If you don't necessarily feel good today, then do whatever you can to make sure you feel good tomorrow and earn some of those green lights for your future self. Earn those Saturdays for your future self. And by the way, to the point of get rich slow versus get rich quick, I think it's, underneath our umbrella of better than rich, it's like, what about just enjoying the process and really enjoying the process of growth on your journey of becoming who you are destined to become? I just listened to Matthew McConaughey twice on Lewis Howes' podcast. I mean, this conversation, I bought his book, Green Lights. I can't wait to freaking read it. And one of the things that he talked about on the podcast interview, he said he's 50. And Lewis asked him, what would your 60-year-old self be saying to your 50-year-old self now? And he said, no one's ever asked me that question. Let's have the conversation. And on the interview, he starts having a conversation with himself, 60-year-old Matthew versus 50-year-old Matthew. And I can't spit it to you verbatim right now, but I can know how I felt listening to that. I felt like if I can get to that point in my life where I'm 60 years old or I'm 50 years old and I'm getting that type of wisdom for myself and that type of validation for myself, I don't really care what life is like if I could feel the feelings that he is feeling in that moment, or that type of wisdom that he has in that moment. It was really profound and beautiful. And he just so happened to be really rich, but I think it's bigger than that. It's better than that.
Right. Well, I think most people who are really rich in life, not just rich in their income, but rich in a number of different ways, fulfillment, impact, relationships, satisfaction, happiness, etc. They're like that, right? And they actually are more interested in wisdom than their money. And that's certainly a big part of what we attempt to do, is to impart wisdom to you all so that, no matter what your bank account looks like, you feel rich and you're better than rich.
And that's partially why they make so much money.
Exactly. And it's almost like a chicken and egg problem, right? Most people think, okay, I'm going to make it. I'll be happy when I have a bunch of money. It's kind of the opposite. You have a bunch of money once you're happy. And we really need to be willing to really understand that and take it all the way to its logical conclusion. What were you going to say?
And not that this is the Matthew McConaughey show, but I do have a man crush on him now. So one of the things I was
going to say, he's 50 years old. He's looking pretty good for a 50, man.
Here's the thing. One of the cool things that he talked about in the interview was he was the rom-com guy. He's like, Hugh Grant passed me the baton and I ran with it. And he was the rom-com guy. And he said, I'm losing depth of myself and my soul doing these rom-coms, but they were paying me lots of money. So I could, he's like, I'm being shirtless on the beach in these movies so I can be in my mansion shirtless on my beach and my home. And he said at one point, he's just like, I got to step away from it. He said, I don't know how long I'm going to step away from it for, but I'm done with it. And he said 8 months went by, 10 months went by, 12 months went by, nothing. And then he said he finally, at about 15, 16, 17 months, a deal came in for $8 million to do another rom-com. And he said, 8 million. Oof. And he read it and he said, no. They give him 10 million. He said, no. 12 million. He said, let me read it again. No. $15 million. He turned away $15 million, said, I'm done with rom-coms. I need something more fulfilling in my life. And he actually had a conversation with himself. He's like, even if I go back and coach high school football and give up the fame, I will live a fulfilling life. I'm just done with the emptiness that I feel and not depth. And then he said 20 months. It took 20 months, but then all of a sudden the universe brought him more drama films. And that's where, he said, he obviously got the Academy Award for the one movie, the Dallas Buyers Club. Right. And, some of these dramas that came his way. And it was just beautiful to see when you can get that much clarity, that much understanding of what is important to you, and to not just the surface level, not just the Lamborghini, but to like your core, to your soul, to what you're meant for. And you're willing to say yes to certain things and no to other things. Wow, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And, he's married, he has 3 kids, and it was a great conversation. I highly recommend listening to it. But the lesson that I draw from just that segment specifically is, with what we represent at Better Than Rich is not necessarily not only not comparing yourself to others on your race, but knowing that there's not necessarily this finish line on your race either. Just enjoy the process. Enjoy the process every day. Wake up, feel good. And if you're not feeling good, do what you can to help yourself, position yourself to feel good. And as Matthew McConaughey might say, get those green lights, earn those Saturdays, like position yourself to feel good tomorrow. If you don't necessarily feel good today, then do whatever you can to make sure you feel good tomorrow and earn some of those green lights for your future self. Earn those Saturdays for your future self.